Warning, censorship.
This is Lewis Brackpool for Rebel News, and today I'm in Parliament Square in the heart of London, where protesters have gathered today for the worldwide freedom rally hosted here in London. Despite restrictions easing here in England, protesters are still coming out, so my objective today is to find out why.
I never doubted for a minute that we could win this, but the fact that I'm looking at all you guys and you've stood up for 2 years, 2 years of psychological bombardment and coercion, and you stood up and said no. That's amazing. That's amazing.
So we just started the march. I see you every time here. With restrictions easing in England, why are people still flooding the streets now to protest?
Because it matters, mate. You know, it's always mattered. But it matters more now with all the evidence that we've got, you know. This isn't about stopping the rollout per se. This isn't about, you know, the restrictions and all that. What this is becoming now is about justice. Out and out justice. They have completely scared our elderly into wearing masks. They've got children out in masks. You know, like, where does this stop? And it stops when we get justice. The vast majority of this country have been so brainwashed into thinking the narrative that the BBC and the likes of are pushing that they've flatly refused to accept anything else. And we need to keep doing this to even hold them people accountable to the lies that they have then taken in, you know?
So is this what it's about then? It's about delivering justice against the wrongdoing for the past couple of years?
Absolutely, mate. You know, we are led to believe in this country that we are democratic, that we are fair, you know, that is just here. It's not, mate. It's not. You've only got to look at the last 2 years to know it's not like that. And then with this crime bill coming through, you know, they're taking even more away from us. You know, they want to pass this bill to stop things like this, to target people like me, the ones that are there all the time, the ones that deliver 24/7, because they are so scared of the narrative crumbling. And it's falling apart. It's done. It is done now.
Protesters are now walking towards Buckingham Palace, as you can see.
Arrest Prince Andrew! Arrest Prince Andrew! Arrest Prince Andrew!
Protesters are now shouting "Arrest Prince Andrew" outside of Buckingham Palace. There you have it. So, why are we here today and why is it so significant?
Well, we've got to send the message that we haven't gone away. So, you know, obviously we're pleased that the immediate threats of the vaccine passports and the threat of sacking all the nurses and health workers, although all those health workers have been sacked. You know, we're very pleased that the government's backtracked on that. It'd be very tempting just to all sort of pack up and stay home and do other things. But as we've heard today, the threat hasn't gone away. In fact, there's so much going on in the background now in terms of the legislation, the government's trying to push through the police crimes and prisons and courts bill, the online harm bill, which is such a grave threat to our freedom of speech. Now we just got to keep the momentum up. We've got to go on the offensive now. We've been on the defensive for too long, and if we just stay on the defensive, then we're just going to be attacked twice as hard next time. So now's the time to rally our forces, go on the offensive. Let's not just take our freedoms back, let's secure them so they're never taken from us again.
Hello mate, you right? Nice to see you. Oh, I just
So I've got him. Why are we here today and why is it so significant?
We're here because for the past 2 years this government has been taking away our civil liberties. I think a lot of people are here today because they're coming for the kids with these jabs for 5 to 11-year-olds. A lot of people don't agree with that. We're against the Great Reset. We don't like that agenda. We don't want anything to do with it. So yeah, there's loads of reasons.
Do you feel that because restrictions have eased in England specifically, that the turnout has started to dwindle a bit. Do you think that might have anything to do with it?
Yeah, there is a sense that some people think we've gone back to normal because the government's given us our freedoms back. It's also because it is a worldwide demo, so there are demos going on in different cities, so these ones are always slightly smaller turnout maybe than some of the end of month ones, but it's still a decent turnout, and yeah, it's some good vibes today, good energy, so yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. With the easing of the restrictions in England, do you think it might have wobbled a few people on coming out to protest today?
You know what? I said this when we knew this march was happening, and I said what you'll get is you'll get the people that are either tired or they're going to the cinema and they feel they've done their bit.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, and then you get the nucleus of warriors. The people that will never stand down. We watched what happened in Ottawa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen that over in this country.
Yeah.
And do you think we're ever going to stand down and forgive them?
Yeah.
Never. Doris, as we call him over here, Boris, pinch of salt. But you look at Trudeau, he's a madman. He's a coward and he's a madman. What he's done to the Canadian people is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Don't ever think that we don't see, we don't hear, and we don't stand for every human across the world, love, because for the first time in history, we're no longer countries, we're humanity.
Yeah.
And watch us roar, love. This is halfway through, we've got through here. We're coming to our finishing line, but we will finish it. We're not waiting for anybody else to tell us, love, yeah? And although we walk, like most marches around the world, together, we all stand in our own light and our own ideas, yeah? But it's great because we meet our people.
Yeah.
We can't keep saying take off your mask. Listen, unfortunately in life, there are going to be the people that fall by the wayside. So yes, they can't try to put all these red flags out. You've got to stay on that road.
There are people out there that have displayed their concerns on even flying with people who are unvaccinated. What's your comments on that?
Well, they all need to be sectioned. All right.
See ya.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Restrictions have basically nearly gone in England. Do you think that might have wobbled a lot of people from coming out today to protest?
Yeah, well, there's still quite a lot of people here, but I think a lot of people might think this is over. But as you say, restrictions are gone. The last travel restrictions went yesterday. I mean, that's a really good thing. I'm really happy about it, but there's still things going on. They're pushing laws through Parliament to bring in a worse tyranny later on if they do this again. And also going through is the global treaty with the World Health Organization, this international pandemic preparedness treaty, which will give them sovereignty over nations if they declare another pandemic. And basically, our control over our own nation has gone to a global government for however long they say they wanted to do. So there's a lot to still fight for, and there's a lot of awareness that we need to raise among the people who've been in the freedom movement and who aren't here, and also among, what we call normies, who are just waking up and have gone back to sleep again.
Yeah. Do you think, you've been consistent for years now coming to these protests. Why do you think it's so significant to be here today?
Well, this is 2 years. It's about 2 years. A couple of days into the future where they first introduced the Coronavirus Act, what was it, March the 24th, 25th, 2020. So we're coming up to that 2-year anniversary. So this is a really significant time. And, it's all gone now. The restrictions have gone, but, they put in a new narrative now. There's war. Mm-hmm. So we've gone straight out of coronavirus into war, and then that is going to be so destructive to the country as well. Not just to Ukraine, to Russia, but it's also going to be destructive to the West. If the people who want to, there are people who genuinely, I think, want to start World War III. They're absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But there's people who are showing their faces now and openly speaking about it and openly advocating for actions that would take us into deeper, sustained and permanent military conflict, which is mad. So, whatever the coronavirus narrative was, however destructive that was, we're now at the point of a new danger, which could be even worse. So this is a very significant march, just in terms of the time it is. And it's really good to come out here today, to be with people, to be with our brothers and sisters who, who are awake, who know what's going on, who can see what's going on, and this can be a springboard for launching a new level of awareness among the population, I hope.
David, it's lovely to see you as always. Really good to see you.
Thanks, Lewis.
Cheers. We're walking across Piccadilly at the minute, where protesters are continuing to march through the centre of London. and it's not gone away. So I'm here with Gareth Ike. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm underdressed.
Oh, you're underdressed? Well, I'm loving this. Let's go, Brandon. I'm loving it, mate.
Let's go, Brandon. All right.
Why is today so important, and why is it so significant to be out here today?
I think a lot of people have got sucked into the trap that this is all over. Right. You know, people that I know as well that kind of thought, you know, we've done it, this is great, we've won the battle, well done for standing up, let's all go to the pub.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, in April they're going to start jabbing the little uns and stuff, and you know, you can see that they're laying the groundwork in China to bring this back. I've got friends that work in the prison service, that are prison guards, and they're saying that they've been told they have to ramp up testing again. And as you know, more tests you get, more positives you get, and so then the whole thing comes back. And I think, you know, Russia and Ukraine has been a massive distraction for a lot of people, so I think it's important for us to come and do this, because I think a lot of people that are looking, I see the way they're looking at us, and they've got that look of,
yeah,
what are they doing?
Yeah,
what are they protesting about?
Yeah.
I can go to Benidorm now. It's fine.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, mate, honestly, it's not over yet. It's just started.
Yeah.
But the numbers are great for that. You know, I'm a few people kind of disheartened, thinking, oh, it's not. But it's never going to be as big as during a lockdown. You know, when people are like focused.
Sure.
But it's still a lot of people.
I was going to say, because of the restrictions have really eased here in England compared to most of the places in the world at the minute, do you think that might have wobbled a few people to come out today?
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. And I get it to a certain extent. Like, you spent 2 years, basically, having stuff stripped away from yourself, and when you can get it back, do you want to come and march in London, or do you want to go out and do stuff? Like, you know, so I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But I think people forget that the reason England lifted restrictions, like there's still stuff in Scotland, there's still stuff in Wales, there's still stuff in Northern Ireland, the rest of Britain. But England had such a protest movement. Yeah. Well, as you know, they had such a protest movement, and it mobilised quickly, and it mobilised from the beginning. And I honestly think that without this protest movement, you know, well, for one, they would have locked us down last Christmas. Sure. You know, they would have done that, would have taken away Christmas, again, New Year's. But yeah, you can.
Well, there you go, perfect time.
Absolutely. But because people stood up, they didn't, and that's why people need to. I think people need to keep fighting back, keep fighting back.
Yeah. Gareth, thank you very much for taking the time out for me. Really appreciate that.
Jump out of the road for me, please. Traffic's going to come through.
I say to all parents out there, do more for your children. Think about the 99.997 child survival rate and question why you would risk your child's life with no real benefit to them. Look at the obvious coercion and propaganda. See through this the way that I didn't. The worst happened to me. What if it happens to your children? And even if you don't agree, surely it is safer to wait. Thank you.
Charlotte people, the vaccine widow. We're sending you so much love, and our prayers are with her late husband. Justice for Charlotte! Justice for Charlotte! Justice for Charlotte! We love you!
Protesters have now gathered in Trafalgar Square, where many speakers behind me are on stage talking about their take on what today's protest means. I think it's fair to say that there's lots of different types of people politically here today coming together for a common cause. So this has been Lewis Brackpool reporting in Trafalgar Square, London for Rebel News. If you enjoy my honest boots on the ground journalism, you can now support me over at ukreporters.co.uk. Visit there and give what you can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.